Eagle, proud symbol of our country, keep on flying high up above, and together we will stand and we'll restore the land. Oh, Eagle, keep on flying, Eagle.
Welcome to Listen to the Eagle. We are live in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm your host, Landon Moore. We have, we're going to start the night off with Mr. John Underwood with MDOT. This is our youth night. So y'all youth, get ready to call in. I know y'all have some hunting stories already from bow season getting kicked off. We got a few things been going on around the area to talk about as far as kids events. We have a big kids event. My youth hunt that I do every year is coming up here in just a couple weeks. We're going to talk a lot about it tonight and how you listeners can help me with that, donations and different things. But we always start the night off the third Monday of every month with MDOT. And like I said, we have Mr. John Underwood with us. He is the chief archaeologist. Is that right, Mr. John?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Well, we are glad to have you here. What is going on with MDOT and what is going on with your side of things? And give us a little description of what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Well, sure. Well, first of all, October is Archaeology Month.
Okay.
And so archaeologists are small in number at MDOT, but we have a few. And what we do at MDOT is we help look at where MDOT is doing their projects, whether it be road expansions, bridge replacements, and we check that footprint where the work is going on, making sure that nothing is being disturbed from an archaeological perspective. And so we go out years before dirt's turned over, making sure that we're good to go for that.
Awesome. So any of y'all that are out there listening right now and have any questions for Mr. John, that maybe why a project got stopped, or maybe you heard that this went on or something, give us a call. We may not can answer it, but if not, we'll give it our best shot. Our toll-free number is 1-800-251-5891 or pound 444 if you cease by our customer. And so Mr. John, give me a day, a normal day for you. What, are new projects coming across your desk, or how does that work?
Well, we have project engineers that are assigned to different portions of the state, and they are the point of contact that I talk to and kind of get my marching orders from, and they will give me project plans for, right now the majority of our projects are bridge replacements. And so we cover all areas of the state. We're all housed here in Jackson. I've got one archaeologist in Tupelo, but we go from state line to the coast, just wherever the project need is. And we get those footprints and we start doing some background research, seeing what we know about that area, what's been previously found there.
Now are we talking about, not to cut you off, but now let me understand this. Are we talking about like foundation? Are we talking about like the type of soil, like to the structure? Or are we talking about like old historical, rams and things?
Well, whenever I'm getting a project plan, and when I say footprint, I mean the entire area in which the work is going to be conducted. So not just the physical structure that's going in the ground, let's say for a bridge, not just the area the pilings are going to go and the footings and whatnot. We're looking at the entire area they're going to work within, so the entire staging area. And we check that entire area to make sure that there's nothing that we need to be concerned about in that whole area. So we go out there armed with a shovel and a screen, and we cover the whole area on foot. And about at maybe about every 100 feet, well, if it's a heavily forested area, things like that, we'll dig a hole, we'll sift the dirt, see if there's anything there.
Go what the next are y'all looking for when y'all do that?
Anything in the ground, homesteads, farmsteads, things of that nature, or Indian sites, campsites, and whatnot. So anything that's in the ground, we're going to look for clues for. And sometimes, we may find the above ground. We may find old chimney falls, or we may find.
Cool.
Sometimes we'll be in the woods, and we'll come across areas where you can see ornamental plants and things that have been planted there, or certain types of plants that grow in those old farmsteads that aren't native to that area, and that gives us clues that they may have been an old farmstead here. And so we'll kind of take extra eyes and walk through there and double check areas.
Will that delay a project just because someone had lived there for a long time?
It depends on the nature of what you're finding. Some things carry more weight than others. And so what we do is whatever we find, we take back into the office and the labs, and we We clean it, we process it, we analyze it, we say, what's the story that it's telling me?
Okay.
If it's something new to an area that no one's ever heard about or documented, that may make it a little bit more special than if we found the 9th example out of 10 for an area.
Oh,
that
right.
it's got a, something has to carry a certain weight in an area.
So, has there ever been a case where you were denied access to a road because, of something had happened there, years and years prior or anything like that?
Whenever I have, let's say I find a resource, I find a site that that could be of significance, I'll take that back to the planners and the engineers and say, hey, we've got something here. These are the boundaries. That's part of our job is if we find something, I want to find, all of the extent of it.
Okay.
And there's a good chance, depending on how big our project footprint is, that we can kind of shift away and avoid it.
Right.
And so the engineers are very good at giving me the worst case footprint that they would possibly need, and then they kind of shrink their design work from there. And if I'm lucky, and we're both lucky, we can kind of shift around and move, and we don't have to worry about hitting it.
Okay. Well, we're fixing to go to break. Y'all give us a call if y'all have any questions for Mr. John. We're at 1-800-251-5891 or pound 444 if you see Spire like what we are. Mr. John, we appreciate you being here, and we'll come back right after the break and continue along on with it.
Oh, sounds great.
Legendary entertainer Paul Ott brings you his greatest hits. Get them all in this special CD-DVD combo set, including Old Blue,
Many and a many of an early morn.
I Am Mississippi,
I am everything good you have ever dreamed about.
Right Arm of America, and many more. To order, visit listentotheeagle.com or send $20 check or money order to Paul Ott's Greatest Hits, Box 219, Summit, Mississippi 39666.
Welcome back to Listen to the Eagle. We are live in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm your host, Landon Moore. Y'all give us a call. We have Mr. John Underwood of MDOT still with us. He is an archaeologist, and we usually don't keep MDOT on, but just one segment. We made him stay around a little longer tonight because this is pretty interesting. Give us a call at 1-800-251 or 1-800-251-5891 or pound 444 if you see Spire customer. So, Mr. John, before we went to break, we were talking about the instance where if you found a cemetery, it's been there for since way before Civil War era. Even.
Right.
And so basically, you said y'all would try to go around it.
Yeah, the designers and the engineers and we all get together and we strategize about how to get around it. And the engineers are very, very creative in finding ways to wiggle the pathway around.
Well, they make the big bucks, so they have to.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
Well, looks like we got a couple calls coming in. We're going to go to John. He's right here in Jackson. Let's see if he's got a question for us. How are you, Mr. John?
I'm good. How are y'all this evening?
Doing great. Doing great. You have a question?
Yeah. So, you were mentioning, you're redoing a bridge or something like that.
Sure.
So you do find, that Civil War graveyard or whatever, and expands on to private land. What happens there as far as on the private land?
Well, the interesting thing is whenever I'm doing my phase of work for the DOT, most of the land that I go across is all private at the time. I get permission to get onto the land and to do my environmental work and to give that report back to my superiors and say, this is where we can possibly go and cause the least amount of harm. But we go on private property, and if we find something on that private property, or if the landowner doesn't really want us there, I respectfully will get off that area.
Right.
But a lot of the times, whenever I'm meeting with landowners and I'm out doing my job, and I'll explain to them, I say, my job is to find things here that we could potentially avoid. And so if you let me on your land and let me see what there's the potential I could find something that'll shift this project.
That's right, because most of the time the landowners don't want it coming through their land to begin with.
Right, but if we find something significant, our first inclination is we're going to avoid.
Absolutely.
And if we can't avoid, then we're going to try to shrink our footprint as much as possible and try to minimize where we're going to be. And then the last thing is, okay, we've got no other options. We've got to do something, and we're stuck here.
Wow.
And so those are fairly few and far between.
John, does that answer your question, buddy?
Yeah, appreciate it. Y'all have a good one. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Too. All right, we're going to go to Mr. Tommy in Hattiesburg. Mr. Tommy, do you have a question for us? We're going to Tommy. Let's see. You must have lost. Mr. Tommy, are you there?
I'm hearing my ear muted, y'all.
All right. Well, you have a question?
Before I started driving a bus first in college, and I drove the button fast to Tupelo State Park. And before we got there, we stopped off a little creek between Tupelo and Boonville.
Okay.
Got a big old monument there that says they found shark teeth. And all the kids got out in the creek and started looking for shark teeth. I got mad because I couldn't find one. So I sat down on a big old rock in the middle of the creek, looked right by my hand, and there was a shark in teeth in the rock, and I couldn't dig it out.
I'll be
I
darned.
asked Mr. John if I could borrow a traco to Mr. State of Mississippi, let me go digging because my little spatula and the skiddy bowl is not big enough.
You know,
and every
that's
time I go, I dig up about 8 of them, and it's fun. So
yeah.
I'm glad
I know, it's
they
fun.
found them and marked them, whatever, and let everybody dig them up. But it's fun.
That's funny you say that. I actually I did some work around Evergreen, Alabama. One time worked over there about 17 weeks, and every afternoon of the world for the first couple weeks, this guy that I was working on a Genesis pipeline over there, and this guy I was working with would go every afternoon and look for airheads. There's no way he could have staged this many shark
Right,
teeth. We found like 8 or 10 the first day.
That's
you know,
amazing.
just sifting, and he had a little contraption, and we sifted it right on the creek, man. We found several airheads, but that was a neat thing.
Well,
And
that portion of the state, I grew up in Starkville, and so I'm used to running around those areas. And where the Tom Bigby used to drain, that Black Prairie, that's some prime farmland, also prime settling land for when the Indians were here. Most of the Chickasaw in that part of the world, and that area in that corner of the state is very, very rich for archaeology sites.
That's awesome, Mr. Tommy.
I got to pick up the mail.
Say again.
I said, I hate to quit talking, but I got to pick up the mail.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thank you much.
So tell me, what's the coolest thing you ever found on one of these jobs you went on? We got a minute and a half
All right.
left.
Well, we actually it's in the Delta. Delta is where we have the most number of Indian mounds in the state.
Okay.
Big floodplain, and when they're building mounds, they're mostly farmers at the time, and so they needed those floodplains. Well, we had a project up there, and one of those plots where you're hemmed in, can't go anywhere. So we have to go through this cornfield, and there was just stuff all over the place. And what made it really exciting was that we had all of these rocks that were being brought in from other portions of the state, probably being traded back and forth. Quartz crystal and greenstone, things are coming out of Missouri and Arkansas. We got stuff that came out of Texas, and it's all kind of coming in this area and being swapped and traded.
Wow.
And so that's probably been the funnest project I've had.
So
at MDOT.
when you say you found it, like they're just visible on top of the ground?
Well, this had been a disc up field.
Okay.
And so when we're fortunate, we've got a disc up field, and that makes my job a lot easier because all I got to do is just walk back and forth and just pick up.
Wow.
So I don't have to worry about.
We're
my
talking
shovel
about
as much
a lot
there.
of airheads, or we're talking about like grinders?
A lot of the chip stone for making the points. Not a whole lot of points because this area had been known for a while, and so we'll call it the choice pieces had already been picked up. But for me, I still get excited about all the broken stuff, and so we picked up all of that debris for making all those.
So the Indians would bring in different rocks and make airheads from different areas. All right, we appreciate you coming. Enjoyed having you on. Y'all give us a call if you have any questions about this or what we got going on with the youth hunt at 1-800-251-5891 or pound 444 if you see Spiral. We are. We'll be right back.
Paul Ott's The Day of the Lord CD-DVD combo set is our free gift to you and your family. The Day of the Lord includes songs like I Am That I Am, Don't Cry for Me, and They Could Not Stop His Love, as well as special sermons by Tom Lester, Dr. Larry LeBlanc, and others. Paul's special holy visits and the printed Don't Cry for Me poster are also included. Get yours by calling 1-800-684-9486 or by letter to New Day of the Lord Ministries Foundation, Box 219, Summit, Mississippi 39666.
Welcome back. We're live in Jackson, Mississippi with Listen to the Eagle. I'm your host, Mr. Landon Moore, and I have a co-host here, Mr. Robert Daly, talking about hunting, anything and everything outdoors. Archery season's wide open. We got the youth event fixing to go on. We had a big Jake's event that just took place in Liberty here a couple weeks ago. Had Mr. John Underwood. Wasn't that interesting?
It was.
That was really neat with MDOT, Archaeologist. So we got a couple callers. We're going to go to Miss Shawn Nations. And Miss Shanes, I'm not gonna say anything from this point on because I know nothing about y'all's group other than what little bit I've read. So I'm gonna let you take it and have the mic from this point.
First off, we started this group about a year ago, and it's a Facebook-based group.
Okay.
Where we have gathered tracking dog handlers throughout the state of Mississippi to assist and aid hunters recover their wounded deer. It's a way for us to put this, the ability for every hunter in the state to be able to recover their wounded or dead deer that they can't find themselves. So it's an easy, simple way to connect the two. And we've prided ourselves in being a free service. We don't charge anything. We have about 138 handlers throughout the state of Mississippi who do this at the drop of the hat. We've left our own stands to go help the hunters. We don't charge anything for it. We've got some of our handlers that'll travel the state all over just to help somebody. And that's our biggest pride is being able to volunteer and to assist. And you never know what situation a person is during hunting season. Everybody's trying to fill their freezer. Everybody's trying to get as much as they can possibly get in their freezer to feed their family, or and then you have instances where people are donating this to families in need. So you never know what the situation is, but we do a lot of work with Hope Outdoors and Outdoors Without Limits and Wounded Warriors of Mississippi. We do a lot of volunteer work for those organizations, and it's our life for about 3.5 months out of the year, and we love it.
Wow, that's awesome. So I blood trailed deer for a really, really long time growing up. I mean, that was a big part of my childhood.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to touch on that in just a second, but I want to say that what I love about this nose to the ground, Mr. Robert, is it's so easy because it's on Facebook.
Yeah.
So you literally can say, "Hey, I'm not sure that I made a great shot. I need a helping hand." There's going to be people see where you're at.
Yeah.
And they can so whereas you may be 300 miles from me, but my buddy may not be but 20 miles, so you're able to judge it. And so that wasn't around when years ago. And that's
I remember
a big
last year they found a lot of deer for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember reading up on that last year.
Yeah.
They found a lot of deer.
I don't remember our exact numbers from last year, so if I said numbers, I would be speculating. At that, we had about a 52% recovery rate. We had over 800 total tracks, and we recovered right at 52% of those.
That's
the
great.
Exact numbers I can't tell you, but usually rifle season is when we do most of our tracks.
Right.
This archery season has really, really, really been busy. The very first day of archery season, we had 14 tracks throughout the state of Mississippi, where last year we may have had 2.
Wow.
So
is that because people are trusting y'all more, or is that because people are just now hearing about y'all?
I think it's a little bit of both, but I think one of the biggest things is we have an archery program in our schools. Kids are getting out in the woods these days. Kids are getting out in the woods, and they're learning how to do things that we took for granted forever, that
Right.
everybody knew.
Right.
So we have the archery programs in school, and we have, easy access. Right now, our Facebook page has almost right at 15,500 and some odd number of members, and that grows leaps and bounds every day.
Wow.
And I think it's it is the word of the it is word of the mouth. I started this thing last year on a wing and a prayer. I really did, and it was without we struggled for the first couple of weeks to get handlers throughout the state, and the more I gained as far as handlers go, the bigger our numbers got, it exploded without even me realizing how big it was getting. It was just so big. But our numbers speak for themselves. You know, we have dogs that you wouldn't think would go out and blood trail, but they do, and they enjoy doing their work.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no better feeling as a tracker than to see a child's face when you say, "Hey, you want to come get your deer?" Or you know, even a grown man or grown woman, "Hey,
Yeah.
I've got your buck up here," you know, and it doesn't matter. We put forth the same effort on a 160-inch deer or a doe.
That's right. Miss Shawn, we really appreciate you calling us tonight. Real quick, tell the listeners how they can get in contact with y'all, if they have questions, concerns, comments, anything like that.
Well, the first thing we need to, we're on Facebook. We're a Facebook-generated group. It's on Facebook. Go to the search bar. He push Nose to the Ground, Mississippi, and it'll pop up there. There's a couple questions that we ask for you to be able to join the group. Make sure you answer those questions, and we'll hit the approve button. If you need a tracking dog, we ask you to, just like you said earlier, a bump deer is a deer that we almost certainly cannot find. So we ask you that if a deer runs from the plot, text us from the stand. Don't track the plot, the track up. Just put in make a post on our Facebook page. Put in your name, what county you're in, what you think your shot placement was. Give us a telephone number. Somebody will get in touch with you, and we'll get a handler. Usually within the first 15 minutes of a post, we've got a handler on the way.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Miss Shawn. That's Nose to the Ground, Mississippi. Is their Facebook page. Y'all check them out. We've got a pile of callers calling in, so we got to let you go, Miss Shawn. We're going to go.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a great one. We've got to go to break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Y'all give us a call at 1-800-251-5891 or pound 444 if you see Spire like what we are.
Legendary entertainer Paul Ott brings you his greatest hits. Get them all in this special CD-DVD combo set, including Old Blue,
Many and a many of an early morn.
I Am Mississippi,
I am everything good you have ever dreamed about.
Right Arm of America, and many more. To order, visit listentotheeagle.com or send $20 check or money order to Paul Ott's Greatest Hits, Box 219, Summit, Mississippi 39666.
Welcome back to Listen to the Eagle. We are live in Jackson, Mississippi in the beautiful Reed's Metal Studio at the beautiful Farm Bureau building. I'm your host, Landon Moore, along with Mr. Robert Daly. We have a caller that's still online with us, Mr. Brian from McHenry. Mr. Brian,
Yes,
you had one more question?
Yes, sir, I do. I picked up a hunting guide at Walmart the other day.
Okay.
And I'm confused about, I used to hunt in the Homachita Forest many years.
Yes, sir.
And now it says you can only kill a doe on private land. Is there a purpose for that, or is there something going on that we need to know about?
I could not tell you, Mr. Brian. I'm going to write this down, and I will make sure that we talk about it next week.
Okay.
And I'll find you out an answer. I don't hunt the national forest. I do turkey hunting a little bit, but as far as deer hunting, I don't. But I have not heard that. So if it is that way, I'm glad you brought it up.
Are you saying that you cannot kill a doe on national forest now?
That's right. That's what I'm reading. And I picked this up the other day, and when I was reading it, I was shocked. I said, I've been hunting up there for quite a few years, and it says, no antless deer unless it's on private land, no public land, throughout the whole guide.
Wow.
Okay.
I'll be listening. I'll be listening next week. I don't want to tie y'all up. I'll be listening
absolutely.
Next
and
week.
Look, stay with us. We only got a few more minutes, and hopefully, y'all, if there's a caller out there that knows the answer to this or knows anything about it or wants to vent about it, if that's the truth, give us a call and let us know, because we'd love to know.
It's the Outdoor Digest, Mississippi Wildlife Fisheries and Parks at Walmart handles out at their sporting goods area.
Great.
So check that out, man. I'd like to know what's going on about that.
Good deal. Thank you. Thank you for
Brandon.
your call. You have a
God
great
bless
night.
y'all.
All right, we're going to Mr. Eddie in Winona. How you doing, Mr. Eddie?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
I got a quick question. On your hunter safety card and on your license, it says about a boater's license.
Yes, sir.
You got to go to a safety class to get that?
Yes, sir, you do. I forget the year you were. It's a year, and I want to guesstimate and say it's like 1984, somewhere around there, or younger. You have to go through boater's ed course. It may be way different year than that, but for some reason that sticks out in my mind. Are you asking for yourself, Mr. Eddie, or for?
Well, I'm asking for myself and somebody else. I was born in the year 75.
Okay.
Young guy.
I didn't know if I had to go take it to drive a boat.
Yes, sir. I don't think you would be required, but I will find out, and we'll bring that up again next week when we have everything with these other few questions that we have. So listen in next week, and we'll have that answer for you.
I appreciate it.
And Mr. Robert, I'm going to close tonight's show out with the Lord's Prayer. I did it a couple weeks ago, and the response was tremendous.
I remember that.
So y'all bow your heads with me. We're going to close with it. We thank y'all for joining us tonight. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those that trespass against us. Lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Thank y'all for joining us. Y'all have a great week.